75 years ago, as the Soviet Union was still reeling from Hitler's invasion, the first vessel of what came to be known as the Arctic convoy reached Arkhangelsk in the Soviet Union. Between August 1941 and May 1945, 1,400 vessels of the Arctic convoy sailed from the United Kingdom, Iceland and North America to deliver vital war material to the Soviet Union under the Lend-Lease programme. Indeed, it was an Australian destroyer, HMAS Norman, which delivered the lead British trade delegation to Russia in October 1941, which ultimately marked the inclusion of the Soviet Union in the Lend-Lease programme. HMAS Norman's navigating officer, then Lieutenant Graham Wright, recently recalled the journey of more than 2,400 nautical miles from Scapa Flow to Arkhangelsk via the Arctic Circle. He described navigating the large destroyer through minefields and dangerous seas, in freezing temperatures and under a constant threat of enemy attack. It was an extremely dangerous and uncomfortable mission for the many Australian sailors who took part in these convoys. Indeed, Churchill later described it as the worst journey in the world. These convoys delivered arms, ammunition, food, and thousands of tons of other strategic cargo to the Soviet Union in support of the Allied war effort. Without this significant contribution, the course of the Second World War in Europe may have been very different.
Our airmen served in the squadrons of the Royal Australian Air Force and the Royal Air Force, providing vital cover from the skies. Some were deployed to the USSR itself, spending 6 weeks in Murmansk, working alongside Soviet technicians so that the aircraft later gifted to the USSR could be maintained after their departure. By September 1942, the Royal Australian Air Force's No. 455 Squadron, Hampton bombers deployed to Africana on the White Sea to escort a major Allied convoy heading to Murmansk. The squadron's role was to deter German battleships, like Tirpitz, from attacking the vital supplies. In doing so, they lost 6 of their 16 crew. The operation, however, was a success, and the squadron was recalled to Scotland a month later. From the Pacific throughout Asia to the Middle East and Europe, Australian personnel fought and died alongside their allies in the common struggle against tyranny. But few could have felt further from home than those whose battlefields were the treacherous and Arctic waters of the northern seas and the skies above that ocean. The enormous sacrifices made by the men and women of the Soviet Union in the Second World War are well known and deeply respected. Australia joins the Soviet Union's other wartime allies, the United Kingdom, Canada, New Zealand and United States, in paying tribute to the veterans from all the countries who were part of the extraordinary achievement which was the Arctic convoy. We bow our heads to those who served, we remember those who died, and we give thanks for their sacrifice, lest we forget.